So I started with this 13 by 13 inch frame that I had picked up at a garage sale. I took the backing and the glass out, and then I sprayed it with some white spray paint and primer. I was originally just going to do it white, and then I decided to go ahead and paint it with some green chalk paint. After I painted it with the green chalk paint, I did distress it, and then I used some Dixie Belle clear coat satin to seal the paint. After I was done with that, I flipped it over and I used Elmer's glue and put it around the perimeter of the back of the frame where the glass would sit. Then I replaced the glass and put Elmer's glue around the perimeter one more time. Now this needs to dry overnight and sometimes up to 24 hours depending on how much glue you use. This serves two purposes. It helps to hold the glass in place and it helps to prevent resin leaks once you put resin on the other side. After it had dried, I took painter's tape and put it around the perimeter of the back just as an extra precaution against resin leaks. Then I printed some clip art out of my Cricut program. Printed it out, cut it out, and taped it to the back of the glass. Then I took clear Elmer's glue and put it around the perimeter of the entire rabbit. I used 2mm rhinestone chains and outlined the entire rabbit, putting it right on top of the clear Elmer's glue. You do not need to worry about the clear Elmer's glue smushing around or getting on other parts of the glass should you move the rhinestone chains around, because the clear Elmer's glue dries perfectly clear, and once you pour resin on top of it, it will totally hide it. I did use some black rhinestone chains for the whiskers and some pink rhinestone chains for the ears and the nose. These rhinestone chains need to totally dry before you attempt to put glass on them. So while that's drying, I am going to nip up the glass that I'm going to put around the perimeter of the rabbit. And here I have a great big bowl, and I have my C-Bell nippers. And I really like these C-Bell nippers because the glass, for the most part, doesn't fly. You still need to wear safety glasses and be careful because it can fly. So what I'm cutting here are glass for the petals of the flower that is sitting next to the bunny rabbit. And again, I'm using these C-Bell nippers and I really like them. That blue-green rubber that's next to the actual blade actually holds the piece of glass so that it doesn't fly, and then you can just drop it into your container. So here I'm showing you that I'm going around the perimeter of the bowl, and I'm going to nip off some large pieces and then nip them into smaller pieces once I have the large piece. So I'm doing this kind of slow. I know there's a lot of you that know how to cut glass and how to use a nipper, but for those of you who don't, I'm going to just leave this kind of slow for a few minutes. And for those of you who know how to do it, you can just fast forward through it. So here I'm just going slow, and I'm using my nipping tool to make points on both ends, just like a flower petal. And I'm just going to let you watch, and you, like I said, you can fast forward through it if you want. And there's one of the petals, and I'm going to make several of them. And you can see that's about the size I want. And I am going to color these, if you're wondering. So like I said, I'm going to play some music and you can watch it or fast forward through it. The other thing I want to say about this glass is it's a fairly thick glass. You can see by looking down on the bowl how thick it is. And it's not too thick that you can't nip it. There is some glass that is more difficult to nip because it's so thick, and thinner glass can even be more difficult because it can actually fracture and break. It's more difficult to get a shape out of it. So this thickness glass is actually perfect. Although you can use all glass, this bowl here is really a nice example to cut into flower petals.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it. You ask me how we got here, 'cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries, let's float for now. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it. I know I'm not easy. I drag you out your mind. And there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me.
Okay, and here I'm showing you all the pieces of glass that I've nipped so far and kind of how I'm going to fit them onto the project. And I'm just trying to make sure that I have enough pieces. And don't worry that the like the edges are a little crooked. I mean, you could straighten them up a little bit with the nippers or with the sander if you wanted. But once you paint them and pour resin over them, they look beautiful. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly smooth or smooth on the sides. It actually gives it some character if it has a little bit of bumps in there. So anyway, like I said, I'm just laying them all down to see if I have enough pieces and how I might lay them out once I have them all colored. So I do end up going ahead and nipping a few more pieces. This I'm just putting in fast forward. Just so that I have some extra pieces to fill in. And I'm actually making some smaller pieces to slip along the sides there, just to make sure I have enough. And then I'm going to move on to the green glass for the leaves. And here you can see on the around the bunny rabbit, there's some different areas where there's leaves. And I'm going to put some there, up at the top, and I might put some extra down at the bottom also. So this vase is such a beautiful green color, and it's a deep green. So, you know, some glass or all glass, when you pour resin over it, it becomes more translucent and lighter in color. And so the darker and deeper colored glass that you can find when you're looking for glass at thrift stores and garage sales, the better. And this is really pretty green. So here I'm just shaping some leaves, which are similar to the petals, only I'm trying to make them a little bit fatter. And they're going to be a little bit more rounded because the perimeter is more round of the vase, because it's a vase I'm using. So, I mean, you could choose a plate or something different if you're wanting your leaves to lay more flat, but I thought it would be cool if they were kind of three-dimensional and stuck up a little bit. And again, I think I might go slow just to show you what I'm doing. And like I said, you can fast forward right through it. And for this, I'm setting the leaves all up on that little piece of cardboard there so that you can see them as I cut them. And one more thing, pay attention to this leaf that I'm cutting right here. So when it's rounded like that with the vase, and you do the points at each end, when you set it down, it will have a tendency just to fall over on its side. So if you do nip one of the points off, like I'm doing right here, then it will balance on that flat part and stand up a little bit better.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it. Ask me how we got here, 'cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries, let's flow for now. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it. I drag you out your mind, and there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow.
And now that I have all the leaves that I think I want, probably a lot more than I need, I'm just setting them down to see how they might fit in, what they might look like. And you can see that I have more than enough. I'll set those aside and probably use them for another project. And then if you look at the bottom left, I don't know what that is supposed to be. There's something sticking out there. I don't think that's supposed to be his tail. So anyway, I thought it would be pretty to put a few more leaves. Not that we're covering it up, because once you take the paper off the back, you don't see any of the, the graphics. But I thought it would be pretty if we could add a little bit more green down there. So next I'm going to use this purple vase that I had already broken, and this is painted glass. So I am going to tumble all my glass, so some of this purple might come out, but I intend to spray it a deeper purple anyway. So I just really like the texture on it. And that, I don't know if that's supposed to be a flower. To me, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of ornamental cabbage. Um, we used to have some in our garden, flower garden. We had some purple ornamental and green ornamental cabbage. And I don't know. So it can be whatever you want it to be, but I just thought it would look, this texture would look really cool. So I am going to cut these in strips and kind of go around the perimeter. These are going to be narrower strips, flat, narrow strips, so that they kind of stand up a little bit. Kind of like my rose video. I think I did a couple videos where I have roses and they stand up. So again, I'm just going to go through this slow. I'm going to play music. If you know how to do it, don't worry about it. You can just fast forward through it. See how that stands up like that? That's what I'm wanting to do. This is going to be the longest video I've ever made.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it. You ask me how we got here, 'cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries, let's float for now. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it. I know I'm not easy. I drag you out your mind. And there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And then we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me.
So now I collect all my glass up. I take it inside. I have this Vevor tumbler. This tumbler was sent to me. It's a really nice tumbler. This is the one that I keep in the house all the time. And I do not put any grit in it. I only use it for water tumbling. And I put the stuff from the purple vase in there. I put the green glass in there, and I put the clear glass in there. I put a drop of people have, and I've never used this before, but people have put Dawn, a drop of Dawn dish liquid. I just did a squirt of it, and some water, and it'll clean the glass. And that purple vase, I think I washed it out some, but maybe not real good. So and then fill it over the top with water, just to the top of the glass. Put the top back on, and I put it on the tumbler for 1 hour. After 1 hour, I take it out of the tumbler, I dump it into a colander, I rinse it off, and I lay it out on a drying mat. And it is no longer sharp. Some glass may take a little bit longer, but in this instance, it was 1 hour. Now you can see what painted glass looks like, how you can see it from the top, it looks purple, and then from the side, it's clear. And there are ways of hiding that, and one of the ways I'm going to use is spray it with a little purple spray paint. I want it a little bit deeper of a color. And the spray paint that I'm using is Tamiya Translucent Purple. It is really pretty, very concentrated. It dries within an hour. It doesn't run. It doesn't fade. I've been using it for several years now, and I love it. I did decide to outline the eye with a 2mm rhinestone chain, and of course I glued that down. And while that was drying, I went ahead and I started putting the glass on the rest of the rabbit. The glass I'm using on the bunny is Ashland Decorative Filler from Michaels. This gold glass, it looks gold, the color is really called yellow, comes out around the holidays, and I have scooped up a bunch of it because I use it on a lot of different projects. And the white or the silver reflective glass they have up at Michael's all the time, and that can be spray painted any color you want. And the pink reflective glass, I'm not sure if they have that all the time. Around the holidays you can get all different colors, so when it comes in, you're best off grabbing it and holding on to it, because once they put it at the end of the holiday, they put it on sale. Once it's gone, it's gone. And they seem to always have one color or another of glass on sale. So next I took some regular acrylic paint and painted inside the eye, and I did end up having to do 3 coats, and later on I ended up putting black resin on it because I wasn't happy with it. You do have to let the paint dry completely before putting a second coat. And then I took the clear glass for the flower petals, and I actually ended up using the Krylon just because I have so much of it left. I had found a store down in Miami when my daughter was going to school down there that had a bunch of it, so I bought it up, and I just need to use it. But truly, I like the Tamiya better. The Krylon, you have to give so many coats and be careful because it will bubble up if you do apply it too fast. So next I go ahead and I put my purple flower or purple cabbage on, and I'm kind of wanting it to lay down more. And can you see how it stands straight up there? I really like the texture on it, and see how that's more at a slant. So I want this one to be more of a slant, and there's ways that you can nip the glass on the sides so that it will sit in a different way. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So just watch the way that I'm nipping it. I'm making more of an angle on each end like that, and it'll still stand up, but you'll be able to see some of the texture on the side a little more. I don't know if it's difficult to see in this picture, but see how you can see the texture like the other piece of glass? And so there's ways of putting it in different positions so that you can, if you do use a textured glass, you can see it. And I just thought that was so pretty. And now I'm just going to go ahead and put the rest of the glass on. And I think that purple glass is just so bright and pretty. I really like it. So next I'm putting the green leaves on, and then you'll see me messing around with all these centers for the yellow flower. One of the things I get at garage sales and thrift stores is jewelry. I have a whole collection of old jewelry, and I like to use it in my projects. I especially like to use it for centers of the flowers. And anyway, I end up using the one with all the clear stones in it. So next I took some Dollar Tree glass. This is actually from the Dollar Tree that I had rinsed and of course dried, and put that down at the very bottom. And then I had some pieces of celestial fireglass that I had painted with the Artist Loft iridescent medium, and I made some little flowers with it and put some yellow beads in the center, and I just thought that was real pretty. It added a little something to the bottom. And last, I used the yellow glass and put that in place. You can see I took the picture off the back of it. It's really important that before you resin it, you take the picture off the back so that you can see if you have enough of the crushed glass on it. Otherwise, it can be deceptive if that paper is still behind there. And then it was pretty much done and ready for the resin. Oh, I forgot one last thing. I didn't like how hollow those eyes looked. I wanted it kind of domed. So what I ended up using was this black UV resin, and I just put a big blob in the black eye, in both of the eyes, and then put the UV light on top and let that set for a couple of minutes. And then I put a white paint dot in each eye. So the resin I'm using for this project is art resin. It's a 1-to-1 ratio resin that you mix slowly in a cup for 3 minutes, scraping the sides and scraping the bottom. On our Facebook page, there have been some people who had posted pictures of their artwork with the resin with like streaks in it. And I'm wondering if it just wasn't mixed properly. So it goes from clear to cloudy to clear again. But can you see how you see those lines going through it like streaks? If you see those at all, that means it's not mixed enough. And it can even, if you're mixing large quantities of resin, you know, like up to 8 ounces, it may take longer than 3 minutes to mix it. So next I take the resin and I start drizzling it over the smaller glass first and then over the larger pieces, and I do thoroughly cover each of the larger pieces of glass. I like them all the way covered, not just drizzled over. And some people do just drizzle it and it's kind of spotted, but I like it all shiny. And then I take it and drip it around the corners and push it up along the edges using my spoon. You can use your spoon, you can use your gloved hand, you can use a silicone spreader tool. And then I have these beads, and this is just out of my junk jewelry stash. I found some purple beads and I thought I would just stick them down in the bottom. And there was a little bracelet with little teeny tiny purple beads that I got off of the elastic and sprinkled those down at the bottom. Use the kitchen torch to get rid of the bubbles. I use a little toothpick to pick out any sediment that might be in there. When I'm done with the project, I come back every 15 minutes 2 or 3 times to recheck for glass placement, to check for bubbles, to see if it needs to be retorched. This needs to sit on a flat level surface at temperatures between 70 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. It cures within 3 days, but you can usually touch it within 24 hours. All resins are different. You need to read the directions for the resin that you are using. Hey everyone, my little bunny rabbit's done. I think he turned out so cute. Can you see? Yeah, I guess you could see him okay. My son had said I should have put a darker outline around him, and I was worried you wouldn't be able to see it sometimes when you hold it up. Don't ever ask your kids' opinions because if you don't want to hear the truth about something. But anyway, so this project was a little more time consuming, having to cut all the different things of glass, and it was the longest video I've ever put out. Normally I speed right through everything because I figure, you know, I don't want to bore anybody, but there have been a lot of people on the Facebook page asking about cutting glass, and I thought, well, let me just do it slow so everybody can see how to cut the different flowers and that, and that way, and for anybody who already knows how to use the nippers, you know, just fast forward through it. So that's what I decided to do. Anyway, I ended up putting a little bug up there and a little ladybug over there after with some UV resin. And all in all, I think it turned out really cute. I hope you guys learned something new. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoyed the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We have the Facebook page going. Guys, there's a lot of friendly people there, really helpful. You know, they try to help everybody. If you have any questions, it's good for beginners, good for, you know, I mean, I've been learning a lot from it. So, you know, come join us there. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching.